Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. Today I wanted to do a video about vendor central accounts versus seller central accounts. My name's Chad. I'm with RevStep. RevStep is a Amazon management agency, so we manage Amazon accounts for companies all over the world. Our specialty is helping other companies go from Europe to the US and then US to Europe. I wanted today, like I said, to talk about Amazon Vendor Central versus Amazon Seller Central and kind of the pros and cons between the two different accounts. I wanted to focus on three different parts of a Vendor Central and a Seller Central account. The first part is what is a Seller and a Vendor Central account. Second, what are the fees associated to the two different accounts. And the third, the history and some of my opinions about the two accounts. So part one, what is the difference between a Seller Central and a Vendor Central account? First, let's start with Vendor Central. The Vendor Central is by invitation only, so you have to actually be asked by Amazon to sell on Vendor Central. So Amazon actually places purchase orders directly to you as a company at a wholesale rate. They buy from you in bulk. Amazon usually places those purchase orders once a week. Usually they're placed by Monday, and you have that week to send out the inventory. The seller manages the listing content through the Vendor Central platform on a Vendor Central account. Amazon manages the fulfillment and the customer interactions. And then the last thing, Amazon pays the invoices on terms. So net 30, net 60, net 90. Next, let's talk about Seller Central. The sellers sell their product directly to the consumer through the Seller Central account. Shipping to the customer happens one of two ways. The first way is what they call FBM, or fulfilled by merchant. So the company, as they sell the product, they ship it to the customer. Second is FBA. This is fulfilled by Amazon. Amazon will ship out each individual product to the different customers, and they will handle the fulfillment process. The seller manages the listing and all the content through the Seller Central platform. In a Seller Central account, the seller manages the customer interaction. So that can be questions, comments, anything like that. And then Amazon pays you out as the seller every 2 weeks. Part two, fees. Amazon always gets paid, and they get paid first. I guarantee it. So first we'll talk about Vendor Central. In Vendor Central, there are 4 basic fees. The first fee is the co-op fee. They use these funds to promote your products and all that kind of stuff. Usually, I've seen it as low as 8%. I've seen it as high as about 15%. This is something that's negotiated when your account is first opened. As you can see here in this picture, every single year you have to basically accept the new terms, the new fees. And these fees usually are increasing. I've never seen them decrease. The second fee is your damage allowance. If you have products that tend to get damaged quite often and customers are complaining about it, that the product was shipped to them damaged, then your damage allowance will go up. 2% is kind of standard from what we've seen. The third is your shipping allowance fee. This largely depends on how heavy and how bulky your item is. This particular account is at a 5% freight allowance. We managed an Amazon account for a company that sold bicycles, and so they were shipping very large items, and theirs was at 7%. I've seen it as low as 2%. And then the last one is terms. So this particular account that I took the screenshot from, they are on a net 30. They get a 2% discount. Amazon takes a 2% discount off of the purchase order because they pay within 30 days. I've seen it typically at a net 60. They will take a 1% discount. I've seen a net 30 at 3%, net 90 at 1%. So it kind of just depends on how the account is set up at the beginning. So Seller Central fees, they're really basic. These are non-negotiable like a Vendor Central account is. Obviously, of your monthly subscription fee. This happens every single month, no matter what, and according to where. Now let's talk about Seller Central fees. These are a lot more straightforward and non-negotiable, unlike Vendor Central fees. The first fee is your monthly subscription fee. This fee happens every single month, no matter what. This is the fee that you pay to sell on the Amazon platform. Right now, in 2020, it is $39.99, and that is every month. The second fee that you'll see on your Seller Central account is referral fees. This fee is a percentage of the gross sale on Amazon. Here's a couple screenshots of their referral fee percentages. Anywhere from kind of 8% to 15%. The third fee that you'll see is storage fees, and this fee actually does change based on how much inventory you have at the Amazon warehouses. Unfortunately, storing your products at Amazon isn't free, and they calculate that based on an inventory for performance index number, and unfortunately that number changes quite a bit as well. But you're allotted a certain amount of storage, and if you go over that storage, your fees increase. They have long-term storage fees, and those fees will actually increase based on how long your products have been sitting at Amazon as well. So first, when I started managing Amazon accounts in 2014, Vendor Central was king. We tried to get every company we worked with onto a Vendor Central account. We personally knew the Vendor Central reps. We would try to visit them up in Seattle, and so that we could bring on as many accounts as we could on a Vendor Central platform. Seller Centrals had way less privileges when I first started. Now in 2020, vendor accounts in the US are dropping quite a bit. Seller Central accounts are actually getting a lot more permissions than in the past. One interesting thing that we've seen over the years is Amazon has cut down drastically on the number of vendor accounts that they're bringing onto the platform. But we've also seen Amazon stop placing purchase orders with a lot of vendor accounts. In March of 2019, we saw thousands and thousands and thousands of companies in a really bad situation because Amazon just overnight stopped placing purchase orders with all these companies. We went to a convention shortly after that happened, and there were hundreds of companies that we talked to that had been selling on a Vendor Central account for years and years and years, and it was a big part of their business. And then Amazon just overnight stopped placing purchase orders, and they were forced to switch to a Seller Central account. So that's something that we've helped a lot of companies do, is switch from a Vendor Central to a Seller Central account and make that a little easier. We have seen the difference in USA versus Europe. Like I said, we manage a lot of companies' accounts over in Europe as well. And in Europe, Amazon Vendor Central is still a really, really big part of Amazon. My opinion is one of Amazon's core pillars that they run their business by is selection. They want the most amount of selection as any other seller online. And so they are a lot more likely to sign up vendor accounts in the beginning. Now, Amazon is king in the US. They don't really need to bring on more and more companies. People need to be on Amazon. Companies need Amazon more than Amazon needs companies. So they're not as likely to pay money to buy the products wholesale and wait and see if it sells. They'd rather have the companies put the risk in selling the products and ship their products into Amazon and manage that inventory themselves. In Europe, we're always telling people, don't do it. Go Seller Central. Don't go Vendor Central. You'll regret it later, because we've seen here in the US how so many companies were in such a bad situation when Amazon stopped placing purchase orders on those vendor accounts. We're pretty opinionated on this part. We believe that seller accounts protects your brand better than a vendor account. When you have a Vendor Central account, Amazon controls pricing. And one thing that's a really touchy subject with a lot of companies is MAP, minimum advertised pricing. If a company is selling their products to other sellers or other people that resell their products in maybe brick and mortar, places like that, and then they sell it directly to Amazon, and Amazon drops the price way below MAP. Amazon couldn't care less about MAP pricing. They drop the pricing, and then you get angry resellers calling you and getting upset about that. we've seen a lot of issues. In a Seller Central account, you get to manage the price. You also get to manage all of the content, everything in the back end of Seller Central. We believe that there is always going to be a place for Vendor Central accounts. We do manage some very, very large accounts, and they're not set up to manage inventory and figure out how many units they need to send into Amazon on a seller account. And a Vendor Central account just fits their needs a little bit better. They're very, very large. Amazon places the purchase orders, they fulfill those POs, and they forget about it, and they don't think about it. In our opinion, Seller Central accounts generally are the way to go. That's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you learned a couple things from this video. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. You can go to our website, revstep.com, find more information there, or you can reach out to us, and we're always happy to talk to you more about it. Have a wonderful day.